Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we talk about how a whiskey is made from a gluten-free beer. Bad writing. That's on Steve.
Still, you should have made it through that, I feel.
My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Tim Swyatt, Demetri Kane, and Jason Bronner.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
How we doing? Glad we got that intro.
It's bad writing, Steve. Still bad writing.
It's bad writing.
Bad writing.
It's bad writing, but yes,
I don't.
It's also bad reading of bad writing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here.
You know who I am, Steve. I'm not going to proofread shit. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I'm going to read exactly what it says, and that's what's going to come out.
Okay. We're going to be talking about Golden Moon and a gluten-free beer, which is good for those that like to self-diagnose. We'll get to that after the break. Until that time, Jason said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, Jason?
Well, we were bringing up corporate America, and we had talked about I have trouble writing emails, and much less you're talking about putting your name on the email and some kind of there's a thing about pronouns and such that some corporations are doing. I was just wondering, I know some of you have been in corporate America, and some of us maybe might be getting into it, or let's throw it out there. Gives and get, the plus or minuses of corporate America. Steve, I'm kind of pointed at you because I know firsthand that you were in corporate America before you found your before you were liberated. Yes.
I did a 20-year sentence in corporate America, so I know all about it. And I started out, trying so hard. I wanted to fit in and wanted to, get promoted and be a vice president and do all that. But then I was told it wasn't going to happen. And then I fought everything. Then I became like, I'm not doing any of this stuff. And you were talking about how, nitty gritty it can get and so stupid they'll follow things. Or Tim was talking about it too, putting pressure on you to do things. They used to yell at me. They said, you have to do a daily voicemail because that way people know if you're in the office or not. You have to put today's date. It's August 6th or whatever it is. I'm in the office, but away from my desk. And every day they wanted to do that. I said, no, I'll do one when I'm out of town because I did travel. I was a sales guy. I'll do one when I'm out of town. Then they'll know I'm out of town. But how do they know you're in town? I'll be like, well, because I answer the phone. And they're like, well, what if you're not at your desk? Well, I'll call them back. Why do they need to know exactly where I'm at? I'm not the president of the United States or something.
If you call me, I'm in the bathroom. I will call you right back.
Yeah. If it's number 2, it'll be longer. But I'll get back to you. So yeah. I don't understand. There's so many things. I mean, I was just combative. We can bring on some of the people.
How about all the acronyms in corporate America?
They didn't have that going on.
Oh, back then. Oh, nowadays.
Nowadays,
it's acronyms all the time.
Right?
Everything.
Yeah.
They're like, did you get the A, B, C, D, E, F, G done yet? And it's like, what does that mean?
Right.
And like if you ask that, they think that you're stupid, and you're sitting there going, what does that mean? You're like looking it up. The EBITDA. What the fuck is an EBITDA? I don't know what the fucking EBITDA is. Just tell me what it is. Stop cutting it down into something else. Like, just tell me what the fuck it is. And
did you get your TPS reports filed, Beka Sue?
No, I've not done any goddamn TPS reports. I can tell you that much. But like just all of it. And like I was sitting actually just the other day, Royce was teaching over at Moonshine University, and I was sitting in the hotel lobby waiting for him to get done. And I was sitting there and I saw this weird like group of 3 people sitting there, and they all just like looked so uptight, and I was like, what is happening right now? Is it like what is this? Because it's a hotel lobby, so I thought it was a weird place to have a meeting anyways. And the one girl was being interviewed by the other 2, and just some of the questions they were asking, and they're like, how would you handle in the workplace someone discussing politics, and what if they got aggressive about it? And I was like, my God, is this where we're at? We have to ask those fucking like that sucks. Like that fucking sucks. And like all of it, the girl was so nervous the entire time. To be fair, she bombed that interview. She did not do a good job. But when I was listening to her, I was thinking to myself,
so if you're listening,
yeah, you didn't do a very good job. You probably didn't get the job. But also, I was listening to these questions and I'm going, I would have done probably a lot worse because I am not politically correct most of the time. And I'm thinking, like she's trying, like she's at least actually trying. And I would have done so absolutely horrible at that. And like, I said to Royce the other day that I feel blessed that I can work for him down at the distillery and not be in some corporate, horrible bullshit atmosphere that just sucks the life out of you every single fucking day.
Yeah.
That's all it does. It just sucks the life out of you. Everything is horrible. Nothing is fun anymore. And you're just like slowly waiting to die.
Right. Yeah.
So you know what you're getting yourself into, Jason.
Yeah.
Well,
Tim's about dead.
Half dead motherfucker.
Jason, the cool thing is Jason lived his whole life without working in corporate America because he was always an entrepreneur. He started a pizza place as a young guy, and then
now he can't even have his own fucking name. His name was taken away from him.
Bourbon's Bistro, and now he's kind of getting into corporate stuff because he has a business that has partners, and now you got people to answer to.
Actually, before I started the first restaurant, I did a little stint at UPS.
Oh, that was enough then. Yeah, we
know
that story.
I was there how that went, and worked my way up, and was going to go to management and all that, and then like Steve, they pulled the rug out from under. He said, "Oh, you're not doing anything," and then I became very combative, and then, here we are,
just like I did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought, you know what? You're making my life miserable. I can make your life miserable too. And I did a good job of that. Ultimately, until they fired me.
So you did such a good job. They fucking fired you.
Yeah, but I held on way longer than a lot. And I did a lot of stuff publicly to people who never heard anybody talk back to them in their lives because they think it's like the military. I'm a major, and then, of course they're not. They're corporate America, but they're like, I'm a major or I'm a lieutenant or whatever it is, wherever they think they stand. And I would just mouth off. But again, extremely talented. And then they bring in and yell at you, but I didn't care. So you can yell at someone all you want and threaten them, but if they don't care, it doesn't do you any good. Ultimately, they boot me out, but they were what funded where I'm at today too. They funded.
Yeah, I got wrote up a couple of times at the UPS, but I was in the union at the time, so I could do whatever I wanted.
There's only so much they could do for you when you're in the union, right? Yeah. No,
Steve, I feel like the stapler was the final straw for you.
Yeah, the stapler did me in.
Steve's Milton.
Yeah. Yep.
Tim is being, a little bit quiet. I'm wondering why.
Well, he's still in the corporate America.
Tim's not allowed to speak at this moment. His corporate overlords have heard what the small talk was going to be, and they messaged him saying, "Do not open your goddamned mouth."
Overlords.
That's not true. That's not true for the record.
Oh, of course.
So now tell us all the nice things about corporate America, then, Tim, because I know that's all you're allowed to say.
Yeah, blink.
Let me give you the talking points I've been provided.
Yeah.
All right, as somebody who is in corporate America, has been in corporate America since college, to the point that you don't realize that you're just a cog in the wheel and you can be replaced. If you think that you can't be replaced, you can. So once you come to that realization, you realize that you use the corporate America to take the risk on having a unique idea and not executing it on yourself and being part of the team versus being part of the idea generation. So you can have a healthy career in doing that only to spur your creative ideas, which is the reason why I'm here and hopefully continue to be asked to be on a podcast, because I have passions in other areas that don't necessarily jive with the corporate America part of that I'm a part of. But I will tell you that when I was a kid, I didn't draw my picture when I was asking kindergarten what I want to be when I grow up, of being a person behind a desk managing and leading other people. That's definitely something I didn't draw myself as. Drew myself as an astronaut. So whatever I can do to continue to try to be that astronaut, I'm sure as heck I'm going to try to do.
It's probably going to happen. It's going to happen.
Probably still be an astronaut.
And it just takes time. It takes
Emphasis
time. It takes risk. Yeah, it is what it is. But there's a way to survive. But to a point till you find that creative idea and you want to take that risk on yourself, because when you're going to small business, you are betting on yourself. And you can't forget who got you there, because it's a good way to be able to support that idea and develop that idea so you can take that opportunity and run with it. And it's the scariest freaking thing that you're going to do. You talk to anybody. Steve, I think Jackie said it on the Bourbon Show. One of the scariest things she did was taking that leap. It's a leap of faith and a bet on yourself.
Yeah.
I hear that Elon Musk is looking for a guy just like you.
There you go.
That's what I hear. Great.
He'd be a character. Demetrius, before we end this topic, you did work in corporate America, but now you've bet on yourself and you've got your own place and stuff like that. But yeah, what was your experience like?
So I came from an entrepreneurial family, so I've kind of always just done side hustle bets. But I worked in banking for 10 years.
That's as corporate as you can get.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it was awful. And the benefits were fantastic. Right. But everything else just sucked the life out of me. And when I took that bet, I lied to myself and told me sales were going to be great. And I think we sold one case the first month. That when I took that bet, and it was probably the most terrifying thing, trying to explain to my wife that I was like, you know what, we're still betting on this. We're still betting on this. But man, 6 years later, I wouldn't do anything different.
Right. Yeah. There you go, folks. I highly encourage. I love entrepreneurship, and I've got the bug. I mean, I've got 2 full businesses, and I keep thinking, what can I do next? What's next? I don't have more time in the day, but I'll figure it out. I want to open up something else now, and especially getting into this retail thing. It's like, that was always like, that's impossible. I could never have a place or a store or something like that. Now I got one. It's cool. That's cool. So yeah. So come up with something and bet on yourself. I think you'll like it. Every day you're working, and you may be working harder than you worked at corporate America, but you're doing it for yourself. It's cool stuff. All right. Well, guess what, gang? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Demetri, we're starting with you this time. What are you drinking there, man?
So I am popping open a new bottle of Yellowstone, the 93 proof. So I have not tried this before, so this is going to be the first go at it. I'm trying to win here tonight, so I'm opening all new bottles. And I was also thinking about putting one on the stove, so it'd be awful to drink, but worth winning. But we'll see. So go Yellowstone. Oh,
what? It was silent.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I'm going to put the next one on the stove. So we're going to
this is the last show.
Well, we're putting a 5th show together right now.
Okay, we're working on it. We're spitballing a 5th show.
You have to have small talk then this time.
Yeah.
In that case, I just wait for the next time.
All right. Beka, you're next. What do you got? I'm going to drink the rest of this because it is literally gone. But this is Four Roses small
Four
batch.
Roses small batch. Small batch.
Small batch.
Small batch.
Small batch.
Pinky's up.
It's the small batch.
Small batch.
Small batch.
That's our corporate America voice.
It's a small batch. I don't know the last time I opened this, but that doesn't mean shit.
Good and Basie. All right, I'll go next. I've got from Stumpy's. I've got one of their picks here. This is their Bloody Butcher, and it is called Bailey's Barrel. So it's a local pick here. All right, let's see what we got. Nah, nothing there. Becca's got the lead. I'm gonna try to. I think I can get all this in this glass here. So let's see.
Yeah, dump it all, Steve.
Oh yeah, easy, no problem.
There's some more in there. You did not tip that all the way up. Tip that all the way up. Get those last little. I see.
There it is.
There we
Good
go.
Call,
there we
Beka.
go. All right, there we go.
Steve's not gonna get out of that.
Jason, how about you?
I went and pulled some more Buzzard Roost off the shelf, barrel strength 114 rye.
Okay.
Got a little bit out of there.
I like how he checked his hand. Nothing. But the swing and the miss, he checked his hand to see if the cork was in there. He looked to see if the cork was in his hand. Is he drunk or what? Hey.
No, he covers it with the pull from the bottle. That just took everything away, and it's fine. Okay. Yes.
I don't understand why you had to change your name. Yeah. I just think you should have just stuck with it.
Yeah, Bourbon Redneck was.
It was perfect.
The most
appropriate thing. Last but not least is Corporate Tim. Tim, what do you got? That should be your new nickname.
Corporate Tim.
Corporate Tim.
You got to shave that beard up a little higher there, Tim.
Once he gets out of corporate, he's going to look like Steve.
I need to get a little tighter.
Yeah,
a little higher,
probably
tighter.
Will.
Long beard.
Yes. I'll be shaving my beard tomorrow, Jason. First thing in the morning, Fred, chip.
Right after the weekend.
That's right. So my corporate job financed purchase of a Buzzard's Roost peated barrel, which is my entrepreneur waiting for a check from Buzzard's Roost.
No, nothing. Beka wins it on marginal.
Work on their.
I'm gonna have to get a new cork distributor.
Yeah, so you suck, Jason.
I think so.
Yeah, you get a bottle and cork. Like get a good easy sound.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. All right. Yeah, somebody needs to come out with a bourbon brand name cork pop. That's a good brand name. Yeah. But you'd really have to.
That's good.
There's expectation levels, and you can't come out with a shitty cork.
I was going
pop.
to say, if your cork's sick, though.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it's like an oversized cork that people are just struggling to put back in. One size.
You got to get a pneumatic hammer to get it back in. Yeah.
then when you have like the barrel strength, you call it Beka bourbon. It's like cork pop.
Exactly.
Beka bourbon.
Beka bourbon. All right. Congratulations, Beka. Cheers, gang.
It's just my night. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about this new gluten-free beer from Golden Moon. That's now a bourbon. They took gluten-free beer and made a bourbon with it. We'll get to that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
All right, I'm Neil.
And I'm Melanie.
Together we're the Robinsons, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about Golden Moon's bourbon made from gluten-free beer.
Yes, we are. So this is good news, again, from those that have gone through some diagnosis, whether it's through a doctor or themselves. They now have something that they can drink. But the funny thing about this isn't everything that is
It's
gone through
gluten-free anyways.
the distillation process
It is gluten-free anyways.
Right.
I'm just going to say, because guess what? My best friend, I know Steve said that, people who are, faking illnesses, things.
And
best friend.
A lot of people self-diagnose. That doesn't mean it's fake. It doesn't mean it's fake. That's two different things.
Diagnosing.
That's two different things.
My best friend, Ashley
you can have
McGee,
a disease, but if you're diagnosing, it's different than
Ashley McGee actually has celiac disease where she cannot ingest gluten without becoming very sick. Mm-hmm. Guess who drinks the fuck out of bourbon and does not get sick? Ashley McGee.
Ashley McGee. Yeah.
She drinks the shit out of bourbon because it gets distilled out.
One day I was hanging out with Beka and Ashley, and Ashley jumps out of a car and starts violently vomiting, and it was spaghetti. Was this gluten-free spaghetti, or was that?
She didn't know for years that she had gluten intolerance, or that she's allergic to gluten.
Well, I'd tell you what, it was
up until I bought her
that spaghetti was all put together. You could clean that spaghetti, put it back together, sauce it, and reserve it based on what I saw there. That was like a nightmare.
She didn't know for a long time until I bought her a 23andMe, and it came back, and we were like, we don't know any of your relatives, but we do know that you have celiac disease. And she was like, oh, that's why I vomit every time I chug beer. That checks out. Okay. Yeah. So now she doesn't.
You just gave her a loaf of wheat bread and said, oh, by the way, hey, here you go.
Yeah. Give her a loaf of wheat bread and set the clock.
But guess what? Yeah. She drinks the shit out of all, she loves Neely bourbon more than anybody else.
Yes.
And say she's got.
So this shouldn't be news, right? I mean,
frankly, it's not. It's not news because it's already distilled out.
But they didn't say that. This is like Angel's Envy being bourbon whiskey being aged in a port barrel. Bourbon whiskey being aged in a port barrel or whatever. Right. You're talking about gluten-free beer just being made to make whiskey. So they're talking about just the beer alone. Now, what it sounds like to me.
What I'd like to go back to is Beka's point, not mine. Beka made the point that there are some people that are faking diseases. And if you're faking the disease, then yes, you could get sick from regular bourbon because you're thinking, well, that's made from grains. I'm going to get sick. So if you're faking something, then yes, this will take care of that problem then, because if it's not real, then you won't have your not real sickness because you know that it's made from gluten-free beer. So this does help out that
That's
demographic.
Who this should be marketed to, yeah.
Right.
People who are not actually gluten intolerant.
Do you think you can put that in a sticker? You put on a sticker.
Now we're on a fine line here with the we're talking about the other corporate America and these other how you dress and all that. But
we have to put a trigger warning on this show.
Right, trigger warning. I love extra gluten. If you've seen me,
right?
Give Jason all the gluten.
Give me the extra gluten because I just love it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if in fact this stuff tastes good, then that's great. But if it doesn't taste good, then you're not doing anyone favors just anyways, because you're not actually making something that's a new thing.
Well, see, that's the thing that I'm confused with, because gluten-free beer doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the train of extra gluten. I'm also on the train with extra animal fat. So when I cook bacon, I add extra fat to it.
You add butter, enough in the bacon.
Demetri is all
lard. We need extra lard.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. My wife this morning, she got mad at me about that. She's like, "You put more lard in there," and I was like, "Yeah, it's bacon."
And then you got to make gravy out of that.
Well, yeah, that's the point. I'm going to pull the gravy, pull it out, and then I'm going to throw the flour, and I'm going to, brown it up. But that's the thing that concerns me is when I look at this, it's it's made from gluten-free beer. It's okay, doesn't really seem to make much sense, because
that's true.
If you're trying to get gluten-free on the back end, it's already that way. Nothing you make it's already gluten-free. It's distilled out, doesn't come through the gluten doesn't go through the column unless you're a really bad distiller.
Yeah.
I guess if you're a really bad distiller, you could still have gluten in your whiskey. But it wouldn't be good.
Right.
So
wasn't that the kid's name on Willie and the Chocolate Factory, Augustus Gluten? Wasn't that?
Augustus Gloop, I thought. Yeah, I don't think it was gluten. Augusta
The
Gloop.
kid that got sucked up by the chocolate vacuum. Yes.
Yeah,
Augustus gluten. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it was gluten.
That's
Yeah, okay.
what his
On
name
second thought, it was gluten. Yeah.
If we go back to the archives of the Bourbon Daily, I remember being on a episode with Turner Wathen where this topic came up, and Turner said we could spend the $5,000 or $15,000 to be certified to put gluten-free on the label, or the public can be educated and we can educate our clients and consumers that the gluten has been already distilled out. Pick your choice on the marketing of this thing. So Jason, I think Jason Demetri said it right. This is gluten-free beer that is then distilled into whiskey. So it's tagging, it's coattailing off of that. And we know distiller's beer is one step away from going into a still or going in for beer manufacturing. So everything goes to distiller's beer, and then it makes a decision of where you want to go. They're just tagging off of that and not spending the money to throw the gluten-free icon on the label, right? Is that what that's what I'm really, as a consumer, understanding what's going on. That's what I'm hearing.
When people come into the distillery and ask about that, they go, hey, I've got celiac, or I'm gluten intolerant or something like that. Like, I tell them, like, these are gluten-free products, but there is wheat in the facility. So it's not impossible that you could have a reaction. I'm like, it's not impossible. But I tell them, I go, if you want to make sure, like, just drink the bourbons, because there's no chance, like there's a slight chance, but it's distilled out. And I tell them too,
very low.
Yeah, I tell them too. I go, if you just want like flavor, I go, just drink the bourbons and the absinthe and the straight moonshine. I'm like, if you're nervous about it, and they're usually fine with that.
Chug it first.
So Tim, you're telling me that corporate America makes you buy some kind of gluten-free label? You can't just say, hey man, I'm gluten-free. You got to buy something that says that?
Give a call to Turner. That's what I remember from that episode. It's either a Bourbon Daily or we were taping on some. Go back to there's an archive episode on this one, I think. Right. And I think
Tim is right. If you want, now you can put it on there, but if you want to show it's certified gluten-free, you do have to pay the organization that certifies it. But again, all of them are, so it makes no sense to do. It's Turner's point was you might as well just educate that really everybody is gluten-free when it comes to distilled products like that.
So this show could actually be a public service and a trigger warning.
There is no gluten.
Yeah.
No gluten.
So with those certifications, here's kind of a fun fact, because we have a farm that is like organic and all this stuff.
Gluten-free?
Okay.
Not gluten-free, but all of these different things. But those are private businesses that own the certification mark.
Uh-huh. That's wild.
You're not. It's not a government agency.
That's wild, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
You have to pay for the certification through the company that owns the certification mark. And
we got to come up with a certification that people pay us for.
Certified organic.
ABV Network certified.
Yeah, it's ABV Network certified. I mean, don't buy it unless it's ABV Network certified. That's ridiculous, folks.
Charge a royalty.
Yeah.
Certification fee. Is it whiskey?
I got to come into your distillery and drink a bunch of whiskey and stuff.
$15,000 Steve Akeley's making on every single time he has to go in and taste it and go, I don't taste any wheat.
Let me twist this just a little bit here, because we were hired for a tasting through the ABV network by a large insurance company that had a bunch of CFOs of their clients of the insurance company, and they requested, hey, by the way, we have one member is kosher. Can you guarantee or certify that the whiskeys that we put in here are kosher? Which we can't. I was surprisingly shocked. There are very few
ones that are out there. Yeah.
Yes, you can. You obviously Buffalo Trace puts it right on the label, but there are very few American bourbon distilled spirits that are certified kosher, to be sure. But there's a whole list that's out there from different organizations. In this case here, it's a religious organization that would say, here are the requirements to be considered kosher, whether it's on the label or not.
Right.
Like where is that public entity where's that group that says, okay, we understand the whole gluten-free thing. Here are the spirits or categories that you can purchase that are absolutely gluten-free, regardless of the label, and educate the public somehow. So there's a whole set. That tasting was the most entertaining to develop, because we had to get very creative, but it wasn't as creative. You had to be smart and intentional on what you were trying to do, which was interesting with that label from the kosher label. But same thing, like I was thinking the same thing about the gluten-free thing. I said, well, it's all gluten-free. It's just now it's a marketing spin to put you ahead of somebody else.
Right.
That you're really stating something that's the obvious. It's like
that being said,
in the bottle, it's bourbon.
That being said, I think that there's a negative connotation there. So again, maybe we're bourbon geeks and we know this, that all bourbons are gluten free. But the threat there is if you come out with it. So Demetri comes out with the bourbon and it says, guess what? This is certified gluten free. Somebody would be like, oh God, that's probably shit, man. That's like that gluten free beer. Point. I think it could work against you. So that's why you don't see a large scale of everybody gluten certifying their distilled spirits. It's like you don't need to, and people might see it as a negative. Yeah.
Well, and I think like my biggest concern is gluten is what adds the flavor to Brett. Mm-hmm. So there's some of that flavor that comes, like yeast is designed to eat. And that's part of the reason why, like at the beginning, I was like saying, I hate gluten-free beer because it doesn't taste right. Right. I'd rather drink wine over a gluten-free beer because the flavor is right, because instead of removing something that naturally is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And so to me, it just seems like it's unnatural. Like, why would you make whiskey out of something that doesn't have all of the different compounds that naturally occur during the creation of ethanol?
And I get it. I don't want to downplay somebody like Ashley who has a medical issue where she can't drink it. And maybe they're like, maybe somebody like her is like, if I can
Ashley's
drink this.
The first one to be out there to say, like, if someone else is like, oh, I can't drink gluten, she'll be like, you can drink bourbon.
Yeah.
So she's a good person to say that, like, you can drink stuff because guess what? It's drinkable.
Right. Yeah.
Or it's the marketing teams exploiting that condition to the benefit of trying to push something through that, to your point, Steve, has a negative connotation. If somebody wants to pay for that private certification, that they look down upon, even though they're stating something that's very clear already if you understand the process.
Yeah.
But that would never happen in corporate America.
No one understands the process. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And just like Turner Rothman would say, no one gives a fuck. No one fucking cares. No one fucking would understand. They'll never fucking understand.
Doesn't mix in a cocktail, then fuck off.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about pots or columns. All they give a shit about is the labels.
Yeah. Well, he thinks that, but those of us in the know, we do care. So we care.
Yes, we do care.
I care. Yeah. I liked when I went to Colorado. It was all pot stills. I was like, this is exciting. Yeah. Well, so I don't know. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people
chug your drink, Steve.
Tim, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me enjoying all the gluten-free bourbon and distilled spirits on the shelf, not knowing if I have that condition or not, as well as on the tasting events page, creating creative tasting events with conditions that you may or may not have. So we are ecumenical when it comes to that, and also with Jason Bronner as a special guest from Buzzard's Roost too, as well. If you want to add that on,
Jason Bronner certified. Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Bronner certified.
Demetri, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Demetri Kane with a C, on Instagram.
One C, no K's.
Yep, one C, no K's, double E's.
Is that with a D?
Yes, there's a D at the beginning, but it's a loud D, not a silent D. And then or at Nobleton's on Facebook or Instagram.
All right, Jason, how about you?
I am on Instagram, formerly known as the Bourbon Redneck. I am the Bourbon. No, wait. Damn it.
Who are you, Jason?
Go ahead.
The Bluegrass Bourbon Baron. Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's easy for you to say.
And you can find Buzzard's Roost and Bourbon's Bistro on all the platforms.
All right. Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. You got to check that one out, folks. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, we got Bourbon Zeppelin out there. Maybe you want to go back to past issues. It's all out there at abvnetwork.com, or check out abvbarrelshop.com, where we talk about our store, and you can come visit us in Arnold, Missouri. Look forward to seeing you. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. Friday, so we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeehaw.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.